till I die. Raise a banner, let it fly. Through the rain, through the fire. This is my club, my only desire.
Hi. Hang on, I've done this again. It's like I've been taken over. They're like, shove me to one side. We don't need Dermotron anymore. We can do it ourselves. But hi and welcome to THFC Till We Die. This is before the whistle, before the big West North London derby today, as West Ham, as Tottenham travel to the bubble growing factory in West London, where all they do is play with bubbles and just play with bubbles. So they think they're all kids again. Joining me, of course, Steve will be joining us, but joining me, of course, is also James. James, how are you, man?
Yeah.
You know, let's crack into it. Let's just crack straight into it. Let's crack into the lineup. This is the lineup, guys. Well, we're expecting changes, and boy, has there been changes. We started with Vicario in goal. We've got Archie Gray, Danso, Ben Davies, and Jed Spencer's a back four. Midfield tree, Assar, Basuma, and Kulu, and then front tree of Vodabart, Richarlison, and Matez Tell. Just one thing on this lineup. We all knew there were changes. But Sarr and Basuma just do not play well together. That midfield worries me. That midfield really worries me. And Gray in the right back as well. He's being bold here, and he really is being bold here. But you like it, apparently. You like the lineup.
Yeah, I think it's a decent lineup. You can definitely tell he's got his eyes on Thursday for the second leg. I mean, look, Archie Gray, for when he was playing with Leeds, played phenomenal as dropping, is like deputising at right back. So it's a position we know he can play, and I think it gives Porro a little bit of chance to rest his legs. Danso, Davis, the double D's at the back. I think they can be solid. I think they kind of have an understanding with each other. And Jed Spence's a quality at the left back. He's really coming to his own this season. I'm in agreement with you, though. I think the Sarr Bissouma link has shown its frailties before. I just hope that we get the same Bissouma as what we got on Thursday night.
Yeah.
I agree with starting Decky and Odobert. I think definitely Decky needs the minutes. When he came on Thursday, he played well, don't get me wrong. He did interrupt and he did try to link that play. But you could tell he was rusty. You could definitely tell he was a little bit game rusty. And I think Matisse Tell's now playing for a Spurs future. And I think the same with Richie as well. I think if we are going to be looking at selling Richie in the summer, then we're basically giving him the game time to put himself in the shop window. Odobert, I think it again just needs for minutes, needs for game time, and I think it's a pretty strong front four, as you would say. Like I say, my only iffy concern is for Bissouma Sarr link.
Yeah, look, you understand the changes. Welcome in a few people. Big up to Michael McDonald. Celtic are letting me down. I know, man. I just hope just now, let's hope Tottenham can cheer me up. Of course we can. We'll always hear the cheer you up. He says, Jesus, you need to change the opening song. Well, cheesy. Well, that's sung by Colin, actually.
Quality song. I love it.
There's two versions of that. There's a ballad version and there's a rock version. So we've got two versions of that. We may change it for next season. Who knows? Who knows? And they've got David Clark says, I can't argue with the team that Angie's put out. Look, I don't think nobody can with Thursday in mind. I don't know. That midfield two for me, it just doesn't suit. They don't work well together. I can't argue with Decky getting minutes. I think Tell is playing for his future, though. When we did break the news a few days ago about Paratici coming back, and lo and behold, the next day it's out on Last Word on Spurs and some of the major outlets. Paratici's coming back to Spurs. We were the first channel to break that, so go back and watch that. I think he's right to say to Tottenham, look, don't pay the 60 million. Don't pay it for Tell. we can do better, and I can do better. So let's see what these are. This is the sub bench. We've got Kinski, Pedro Porro, Udogi, Romero, Van de Ven, Bentacle, Elijah, Moore, and Johnson. Very strong bench. Great to see the kids on there, Elijah and IJ and Moore. Do you think they may get a seat? Do you think they may get a seat today?
I think he seemed reluctant to bring the kids on in some games, but what he needs to do is he needs to give more of a game time. If we want more to develop, he's got to play him. He's got to play him. And same with Clinton Ajayi. I think he showed in the Europa League game that he can. He knows he's got a sniff. He knows where the goal is. He looked very, very positive, and I think give him a run. Let the older heads of Porro, Udogi, Romero, Van de Ven, and Bentancur, let them just be there in case something drastic happens. But give Ajayi, Moore, and Johnson the minutes. I just want to welcome in Big Steve. Stevie, how are we doing, my man?
You're doing well, guys. And I do apologize for my tardiness. It wasn't on purpose. And I hope you guys are enjoying your early Sunday morning.
Yeah, what do you think of the lineup, Steve? I know you've been on Dave's and you've probably been through it, but what do you think of the lineup? I thought it's an expected lineup, but for me, it's Sam Basuma in midfield that worries me.
Yeah, I thought this was exactly the lineup I was expecting to see. I think I correctly predicted 9 out of the 11. I actually thought this would be a situation where Timo Werner might come back into the team just from a numbers standpoint, because without understanding exactly what Sonny's trajectory is for that second leg, you would assume that Matisse Tell would probably be put on ice for a little bit. With the aim of starting on Thursday, so it would create an opportunity for Werner to at least get some minutes and plug a hole in this one. But as it is, Matisse Tell gets the start. I agree with you, Derma. The combination of Sarr and Basuma is definitely worrisome. I don't know what you can take out of the last performance of Basuma, because his entire body of work has been absolute dog shit. But I will say that I'm very happy that Kulusevski is getting a run out there. He needed to start today ahead of that second leg. I think what we saw in that last game was that you can see bits of his game that are on point. But as far as that next level sharpness, that's only going to come from more minutes. And I'm very happy that Kulu is getting a start out there. But let me ask you guys a question real quick. How do you guys feel about Archie Gray at the right back? Because the last couple of times we've seen it at right back, he has not played well. And I don't know if it's because of a lack of minutes, and so that sharpness is not there when he was during the injury crisis, because he was playing every single week.
I don't know if James remembers. Do you remember a player called David House, James, back in the day?
Yeah,
he was that versatile player, wasn't he? He played in midfield, he played in left back, right back, centre back.
He played wherever you needed him to play.
Yeah, and I think Archie Gray's becoming that sort of David House type player.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to become a player that any manager that comes in is going to say, right, if I need a right back, Archie Gray can play there. I don't particularly like him at right back. I don't particularly think he plays well there. I think he plays better as a centre back or as a CDM. But we saw when they played him as a CDM against Liverpool, he didn't have a great game. But
you've got to think about the sorry, Dermo. I was just going to say, you've got to think about who we were up against in that CDM role. And he would come in cold. He came in cold on that game, and of course he was going to get torn to shreds. I think some of the best CDMs in the Premier League were going to have struggled against for Liverpool. So look. He had a bad game, but I don't hold that against him.
I think playing him right back is ridiculous. I think Steve, you put out yesterday about bringing Reguilon in. I think you did say that. I think. Look, thinking back on that, and I sort of disagreed with you last night on it, but thinking about it this morning after seeing the lineup, that wouldn't have been a bad shout. And put Archie Gray in the midfield with Papa Sarr.
The crazy thing is that I can understand why Jed Spence is in there, because you're going up against Jared Bowen. And so you kind of want to have that you want to have that strength versus strength on the left side. It's completely understandable. But that being said, it's like, you know, and I push back against David Clark right there. He's naturally not a right back. That being said, he did play right back a lot last year for Leeds because they had a need, and he was willing to step up and facilitate that position. But you know, for the most part, he is not a true right back.
No, he's a CDM. I mean, what do you think of the bench, those guys? Me and James went through it. So Steve, I mean, it's a strong bench. You've got two of the kids on there. Do you expect to see any of the big boys on? Do you expect to see Johnson on? Do you expect to see Bentacon on? Get a few minutes in. I don't think you see Romero Van de Ven on unless it's really necessary. Hopefully, you might see the kids start, which would be great for them. I think out of the lot, I think them two that will be on.
If we're in the 60th minute and we're down a goal and we're chasing an equalizer, I can easily see Rodrigo Betancourt and Pedro Porro coming into this one. That definitely makes sense. I don't think we're going to see Romero Van de Ven. But that being said, if we're up one, and you know, defensively we're holding our shape quite well, yeah, I can probably see a Giant work getting some time today, and it perfectly makes sense. The question is whether we're going to see Udogie. If that's going to be the switch, right? Instead of Pedro Porro moving Jed Spence over to the right back position, and then putting a Doji. If that's going to be the switch instead of Pedro Porro, I think we're already at that point where we very much know that Ange Postecoglou really trusts Destiny Udogie. And in a situation where if you're chasing a goal, you want to be a little bit more compact in that back line. I can probably see Destiny Udogie coming in. Yeah. But as far as Romero Van de Ven and Betancourt, I don't think so.
No. Look, the last two games right at the London Stadium have ended in 1-1. Spurs it's 2 wins each. It's 2 wins and a draw. 2022, 31st of August, drew 1-0 at London Stadium. We beat them then in the February of 2023, 2-0. West Ham beat us 2-1 in December of that same year. And then last season, we drew 1-1 with them at the London Stadium. We've played them 57 times. We've drawn 12. So Spurs have had the total wins of 27, 16 at home and 11 away. West Ham have had 18 wins in total, 12 at home, 6 away. Form guide really is... Ours is shocking, but that's just that's an understatement of the century. Only 1 win in our last 5, and that was against relegated Southampton. We've lost against Chelsea, Wolves, Forest. We've lost 3 in the bounce in the Premier League, 3 defeats in a row. Forest, Galway Channel Group. 4-2 against Wolves, 2-1 against Forest, and then 5-1 against Liverpool. West Ham and the other one haven't had any wins in their last 5, 3 wins and 2 draws. Their last 3 games was a 2-1 defeat against the champions Liverpool. They did draw 1-1 at home to relegate Southampton, and they lost 3-2 away to Southampton. This year, West Ham are in 17th place with only 9 wins, 9 draws, 16 defeats. Spurs are in 16th place with 11 wins, 4 draws, 19 defeats, an equaling record defeat in the Premier League. 6 clean sheets for each club. Top player stats, Brendan Johnson with 11 goals out of the Tottenham West Ham. Sons are top with 9 assists and 74 tackles for Destiny Udogie. Guys, look, West Ham, I don't like West Ham particularly well, right? I don't like West Ham at all. I think they're a bunch of bubble-making merchants that all they want to do is play with bubbles and just sit there as a bunch of kids. They are. I just don't like West Ham at all. How important has this been the last London derby? So I'll just mute James there for a minute. Steve, how do you feel the last London derby of the season? How important is it for Spurs to get a win today to end this sort of series of London derbies with a win? And especially with the game Thursday, is it important for us to go in confident with a good, confident win behind us?
Oh, absolutely, man. For pride, for for the fans. Yeah, I would think that if that is something that these players hold dear to their hearts, that even heavily rotated, they would go out there and put in a full 90, right? That's really the only question, right? I think that they answered that question after getting absolutely dummied by Liverpool. They turned around and actually put in a performance against Bodo Glimt. So from that standpoint, how important is a win to push into the second? I still think momentum means everything. Going in, understanding that you had an absolute dynamite performance against Bodo, and you followed that up with another 3-goal performance against West Ham. And now all of a sudden you have 2 wins on the bounce, and you actually scored 6 goals in 2 games. That's going to do a world of help. Especially for some of these squad players who necessarily have not proven that they're worthy or capable of the minutes that Ange Postecoglou's given them. So yeah, from a momentum standpoint, it's absolutely pivotal. But the question is whether or not this heavily rotated squad is going to treat this like a summer friendly, or are they going to treat it actually like a London derby and actually show up and put in a hard 90?
Yeah. I mean, James, look, I don't know how you feel about West Ham. They're one of the 3 clubs I don't like. I just find them, like they always say, this is their cup final, right? This is West Ham's cup final. Yeah. Yeah, just go back to playing with your bubbles. And Barney the dinosaur, walking around there, and you need binoculars to actually watch the game at their stadium. Everything about them is wrong. I only like one West Ham fan. His name's Tony, and he runs a West Ham channel. And he's a member of this channel. He comes in and out, and he's the only West Ham fan I truly like and respect. The rest of them can go and play with their bubbles as much as they like. But Spurs and London derbies this year have not been great. We've lost more than we've won. How important, and I know I said to James, but to Steve, but how important is it that we have to get these London derbies right? We have to start beating our rivals around London.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course,
what does it mean to you? What does this game mean to you? We're coming to the end of the season. Is it important that we end the season on a high?
Absolutely. Look, we all want the Europa League. We all want to win that trophy. Of course we do. That would be the ultimate high for our end of season, given where we've been. But I agree with what Steve was saying. We go out today, we put in another result, we grind out another result. Look, even if it's 1-0, 2-1, whatever, if we can grind that result out, it gives us then a little bit more confidence. Yeah. And these players that have come in and were not starting our main 11, I'm not going to say starting 11 because we're starting today, but our main 11, it gives them the ability to get some confidence back as well. Because, and for me, it's a big London derby. Regardless of where we are in the league, where we are, how the season has unfolded, it's a big London derby. It's every London derby that we have. When I look at the fixtures, when the fixtures get announced, I'm going through and I'm highlighting where are my London derbies, where are my big London games. And they're the ones that I look at first. Then I start looking at where's the other big games. So then Man City, Man United's, not Arsenal's, Liverpool's, where do they fit in? So to me, it's a big game, and we need to treat it as a big game. Because at the end of the day, David Clark says just here, if West Ham beat us, they go above us, and we drop into 17th. Look, to me, if we need to win, and we need to create that gap. Look, we're not gonna tear up any trees and bounce up the table and go flying into top 10.
We can today with a win. If we win today, we go up to 14th place because we've got a better goal difference than Man United and Everton, so we'll go above them. Look, and I'm sorry.
But what I'm saying is that what I'm saying is that we're not gonna. It's not gonna drastically like jump us into the top 10 is what I'm saying. But again, what I'm saying is like what you said is that we could go up to 14th because of our superior goal difference, but then it gives us that bit more of a stepping stone and a bit more confidence, like Steve was saying, to go then and say, all right, We've got us 2 wins now. Let's go on and kick on for get a third against Bodo on Thursday. That's 3 wins on the spin. I mean, it starts that positive snowball effect.
And this isn't the last London derby. The last London derby is when I go to Palace next weekend.
Yeah.
So, which I can't wait. I'm buzzing already for it. It's just the idea of going to that magnificent stadium. And as I said, next Sunday, guys, you will have the pleasure and absolute joy of these two running the channel. James and Steve taking over, doing them. I'm throwing them in at the deep end. I'm doing an Ange Postecoglou, and I'm throwing the kids in. They've come through the youth academy. They've come through the under 21s. They've made some appearances. They're getting ready. They're getting into it. And then next Sunday they're making a few debuts. So I hope you quite like how I put you through. You came to the youth academy like I've been priming you from.
That's exactly right. You put us through your paces, and now I've been fortunate enough to actually make my international debut on the the YouTube U.S. men's national team. So I'll tell you what, man. Thank you very much, because if it wasn't for this opportunity, I wouldn't have gotten capped by my national team. So let me ask you guys this question, and I'm curious to know how you feel. Right, the whole purpose of rotation is to make sure that your squad players are being put in a situation where they can continue to get kicked on. But that being said, one of the things that actually is has been disturbed me is the fact that we had an injury situation where a lot of these guys were forced into action. And because of that, typically speaking, there would actually be better for that. Having to go through that typically would actually make them a little bit better. But one of the things that I haven't seen is I haven't seen that, right? I haven't seen anybody that's taken advantage of it and put themselves in a position where they can go to Ange Postecoglou and say, you know what? I was the one that took advantage of it. I was the one that that should be starting ahead over Destiny Udoji. You know what I mean? And on the inverse, it's also these minutes that you get that also benefits you next year, right? Regardless of who the manager, you want to be able to have your body of work speak for you and say, you know what? I'm not just here to be a squad player. I'm here to kick into your starting 11. I can probably name maybe 2 that have taken advantage of their minutes. But the rest, the rest of these squad players, and I'm looking at Ben Davis, and I'm looking at Yves Bissouma, and in some regard, Papsar, that have not taken advantage of it. And I just want to know how you feel about this. It's like, when we see this heavily rotated squad, does it actually give you confidence that these guys can be trusted to put in a full 90?
No, not at all.
No, I'm agreeing with you.
I have no faith in this whatsoever. I expect us to get really turned over today. And I was saying to you, Steve, as long as yesterday, and I don't know if you agree with this, Joe, I'm saying big up to Donna Cullen. Big up, Donna, for joining us. I know you're very busy with Daniel leaving. I don't know how you have time to join us, but you do. So thank you very much. She's asking Mr. Moyles. See, she's very polite to me. She's Mr. Moyles. Who's the gentleman below you? This is Steve from America. Donna, I know you like American men. So there you go. So there you go. And she also goes, Mr. Moyles, the gentleman below you seems intelligent and he looks good too. Well, there you go. You've got a female fan already. Donna Collins after you now, Steve. So we'll
by the way,
price up.
Miss Donna Cullen, it's a pleasure to meet you. And you also happen to look very good yourself. Good news, man. I just got my passport, so I will be in the UK later this year. Just putting that out for you.
We're not just a football channel. We're actually a dating site as well, but
dating site as well. Yeah.
Whoever could. What was that program years ago? That what was it? Was it Surprise? Where they used to have do you remember, James? I don't know if Steve remembers, but they used to have a bloke there and 3 women behind the.
Blind date.
Blind date.
We're still a black. Yeah, blind date. Yeah,
that's it. Yeah, we should put Steve on there. Donald Conlon, there you go. Big Bad Ron. I like that. Big Bad Ron. Expects to draw today. So today, let's go for a date when you're in the UK. Oh my God, this is getting juicy. Right, can we get back to talking football, please? Instead of that date. Yeah. Oh gee, yeah, exactly. Oh Jesus, can we go back to football?
Sorry, Big Bad Ron. We have to take care of business first. Okay, business first. Yeah.
Well,
then football.
Look, Donna, I'll tell you what. If you become a member, right, we'll make sure Steve comes over. So there you go. There's a little sweetener for you. Right.
You might even get my contact information.
Yeah, I'm completely thrown now of what I was going to ask now.
I'm just messing.
Now, I've just saw this in the group chat, guys. So I'm just bringing it up. This is from Football 365. So this is a rumor, nothing concrete. I've asked the question to our sources, by again, who are spot on about Paratici. I'm just saying that again. I'm gonna keep digging that out as long as I can with that one because we were spot on about that. First two things. Firstly, Pep said on the weekend he's going to take a break at the end of his contract. How important? Just the Premier League question in full. How important has Pep been to the Premier League? Was he the successor to Alex Ferguson to take over to be the best manager in the league?
You can say so, yeah.
100%.
Yeah, you could say so.
Look how many teams try to play Pep ball, right? Look at the innovation that Pep Guardiola brought in to the Premier League and the success rate and the trophies that won, and a model and a style of football that he exclusively brought to this league. And you see how many teams, have literally tried to copy that model, and how many people have had success versus how many people have failed in that copycat model, right? So Pep kind of stands alone.
Yeah.
Also with this news that Man City are to offer Tottenham 55 million for James Maddison. As I said, it's only a rumor. It's not true. Would you bite the hands off for them? Would you say, yeah, I'm taking that?
Yeah. Yeah, I would. I'll be honest with you, Dermo. I knew you were going to bring that up because I've sent it to you. But yeah, I would absolutely snap my hand off if they're thinking 55 million to take Maddison offers. I would absolutely snap their hand off at that, and we could then take that 55 million, reinvest, and like David Clark said, way up in the chat, we need to buy a better, stronger DM. That would then give us that money, and then what you could do, because then you look at the way I look at it is you look at our squad, and you could sell Maddison for 55 million, bring in a stronger DM, you bring Kulusevski into the centre, and then you've got Mikey Moore, you've got Odegaard, if we keep Matisse Tell, you've got the wingers, you've got Johnson, you've got the wingers to basically support Kulusevski coming more into the middle. So for me, I think it's a no-brainer. Yeah. If it turns out to be true, I would be snapping their hand off because we've not lost anything on him. We've made 5 million on him, and yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I agree with you. Yeah. Just to let you know, Big Brad Ron, I will not read that out. I brought it up, but I'm not reading it out. But it's just for Steve's information. She has asked for, well, look, to one know any difference, she's a lady, so I can't deny all then. So she's a lady. Can you put the membership link in the chat? There it is. That is the membership link. If you want to become a member, we are going to do some members only shows. I'm going to start them in pre-season, start them in the summer. And we need to get it right and how we do stuff. So yeah, they will be coming. Big up to Tequila. Big up the Big T who goes and fights aliens every night on the play pouch. Great, it's great viewing. He does very well. The aliens have taken over the world, and Tequila goes in there and destroys them all. Big up. Just play my character, man. Just play me. Send in the Irish fella. He was sorted out in one lump sum for you. You know what I'm talking about.
Do you know what's awesome about Tequila? He showed up last night for the MLS watch along. He was interested in Leo Messi. I was surprised that James didn't show up last night for the watch along. I thought it would have been.
You could have sent me a message. I was sat at home doing nothing. You've got my contact details, Steve.
Yep. Next week. Hey, by the way, to answer your question, 100. Like, here's the thing. You look at what Big Bad Rom said: 23 goals, assists, and he still gets shit upon at Spurs. Here's the thing: when you buy James Maddison, you're expecting seeing not only the talent but also the consistency, and that's something that we just haven't seen. Whether it's injury or whether it's form, James Maddison does not show up and play a pivotal role in this attack. Right? It's either he's not on form and he's completely invisible, and Ange takes him out in the 70th minute when we're either down one or tied, or he has a performance like we saw against Bodo Glimt, where he's all of a sudden, he all of a sudden picks and chooses when he shows up, right? For a position that's so pivotal, the 10, you need something far more consistent. And here's the thing: it's like, is Kulu a like for like? Yes and no, but he shows up week in, week out, and he puts in a hard 90. But I'd also think of it this way: if you actually take the 55 for James Madison, and I've been consistent, Dermy, you know this, where I said if you get a good offer for James Madison, you do it. But it also opens the door for the likes of potentially bringing in a Fertesi from Inter Milan. There's also rumors with a guy like Conor Gallagher that you can bring in as being a deep line playmaker. There are different options that actually make this midfield far better than what it is right now.
Yeah. I just want to go through the chat here a little bit, but I agree with you. Want to big up to Donna Connors, become a YouTube member, a bronze membership as well. So big up to you, Donna, and look forward to all the new content that's coming on. What channel's the game on here?
It's not.
It's not.
Yeah, you can do a watch. Yeah, you can't pick it up on the UK, but you can do the watch along with us.
Now, here's the cheat code, Derma. It's on in the US on Peacock. So if you actually have your private internet access VPN, you can set your VPN into the United States and watch it on Peacock.
I tell you what, I might as well just play that now because you've mentioned it. But yeah, do join us. But here it is. This is our channel sponsor, private internet access, and this is how it was €45 for 2 years plus film was free. But here's Colin telling you all about it.
Let me talk to you. A little reference there, but I'm going to stop messing about. I'm going to talk to you about private internet access, the best VPN in the land. Now, when you're online,
just get on with
you may
it,
not realize, but all of your data is there for the taking by anybody. With a VPN such as private internet access, your data is safe and secure, streamlined, and nobody else can get hold of it. That's why I use one anyway. VPN's very easy to use. Private internet access, all you got to do is log on your phone, select where you want to be. So I want to be in America, and I click go, and there we are. You can also link up your devices to it from your phone if that is easier for you. It's available on a lot of platforms as well. As you can see, and you can use it for a very, very big range of things. So that's even better as well. You can use it, like I said, on all your devices, smartphone, tablets, gaming consoles, and stick it on your modem. And it's unlimited devices. One equals all. It's available all across the world, and it works perfectly. What they do is they mask your IP address, so pesky 3 o'clock kickoffs aren't an issue anymore, and they're independently audited, so there's no logs, 30 million customers, and 4.5-star Trustpilot rated excellent review. Private internet access. Get yours now.
Yeah, and we have welcomed Donna in already. She is a bronze membership. We did that a little 2 minutes ago before we started this, but we're welcoming her in again anyway, just for the sheer hell of it. Welcome, Donna. Welcome to the membership and welcome to the club. Right, yeah, €45 for 2 years plus 4 months free. You cannot be better than that. And that was our resident Irish superstar, Cillian O'Connor. He starred in many such films as My Left Right Foot. He also starred in Honey, I Shrunk a Gooner. And he also starred in the best film that has ever come out. He starred in Doncaster, We've Won a League. That is coming out anytime soon. I think comes out in June. And also he is going to be the new James Bond, and he is making the new Mission Doncaster Impossible film. So we look forward to seeing that. So that is, do pick that up. It helps them, it helps us. They're the best VPN around. Steve uses it, James uses it, I use it. And I'll tell you one thing, we get no buffering, no nothing. It is brilliant. I want to welcome also, where's Tequila? I'm so behind. It says Dermo. What Tequila? Has the clown gone yet? No, he's still here. I will continue to ask until one day you tell me yes. Well, do you know what? He may do. He may do. Big Bad Ron, I think he's ruined the league. This is Pep, as they're all trying to pay out for the back. Nobody can compete with City's always money. True. Look, 23 goals as goals and assists. He's shit upon Spurs. He's too good. Be at Spurs at the moment. Madison's so disrespected here. Look, the guys have had their opinions on Madison. This is my opinion on James Madison. He frustrates the hell out of me, but there is a player there. When he was at Leicester, I wanted him at Spurs because of the way he played at Leicester, but he had two decent midfielders with him. How do you expect him to perform when you got the likes of Basuma, who couldn't kick a bull up the arse, and Papa Sarr? Papa Sarr's trying to cover two jobs here. So how you need a Bentancur and a Sarr behind him. Let him cook. That's what he is. A good player. He is a top player. And I think I don't know, you guys think very quickly before I bugger off to get the watch along ready and let you two guys finish off the show. My last question to you two is, with James Madison, if he had two decent midfielders behind him and under a different manager, do you think, and I'll start with you, Steve, for this, do you think we would see a better James Madison?
Here's the interesting thing, right? If James Madison was this vaunted character that a lot of these guys in the chat thinks he is, he would overcome the lack of talent in his midfield. He would be pulling the strings and showing up every single week, right? And that was not this is not just a Tottenham issue. This goes back to his Leicester days. It even goes back to his Coventry City days. There are just moments where he just doesn't show up, right? So, like, think about the best 10s that we've seen over the course of the last 20 years. Some of the best ones have the ability to play when the rest of the team just, for whatever reason, is just not on par with them that day. Right? James Madison is not that type of guy that's going to consistently show up, right? He actually needs the rest of his team to be playing well, for him to see his best attributes. And that's my problem. It's like, is he really, really, really this great 10, or is he's just a guy that needs, good players playing well around him at the time when he decides to show up. Yeah, he scored against Man City. That's great. But, where was he against Leicester? Where was he against Ipswich in that first one? Where was he against some of these bottom dwellers where Brendan Johnson happened to show up, by the way? But that being said,
I think Brendan Johnson gets, sorry, Steve, I think Brendan Johnson gets more stick than Matt. And I'm Brendan Johnson's been a fan. And I said on Thursday, and nobody's giving me credit for it yet, I said, you pick Brendan Johnson, he comes around the back post, and he gets you a goal. And what did he do Thursday? He done exactly what I said.
But by the way, I like James Madison. Like, this is not about me taking a shit on James Madison. I like him, and I actually do see a player in there. And of course, on this last Thursday, we actually saw one of his best performances. Like, that dude was pulling the strings, and he was actually a lot of these players were taking cues from James Madison, and that's the high end of what he provides. But does James Madison do this on a week-to-week basis? Is there a consistent level of play that he provides Spurs? And if the answer is yes, then why does he consistently being taken out in the 70th minute? Why doesn't he show up every single week? That's my only drawback.
Do you know what I love about football is everyone has different opinions on players, but we all support the same team. But everyone's entitled to their opinions in here. Look, I think, James, I don't you think on James Madison yourself, but when you look at the likes of Brendan Johnson, and Big Bad Run does make a point here. I will bring it. Where is it now? He said he did score against Man City, Liverpool, Villa, Man United. He assisted against Chelsea. Our front three haven't been great this season. Now, is that a lack of a top number 9? Now, Brendan Johnson's our top goal scorer. And I like Brendan Johnson. I think Brendan Johnson's got the talent. And I think you could play Brendan Johnson in the number 10 role, by the way. And everyone laughs at me when I say that. But I do believe that. I think he can fit in there. But does James Madison need good players around him for him to consistently turn up? Where he hasn't consistently. Steve is right. He didn't turn up against Leicester. He didn't turn up against Palace. He didn't turn up against Ipswich. The teams that we're expected to defeat, the teams when he's been captain, that he hasn't motivated the team to move on. Do you feel there's a bit of a love-hate relationship with Madison within the fan base?
Yeah. And like Chinwag Spurs says there, Kulu very inconsistent. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah, go on.
Kulu's very inconsistent. I agree. Kulu is very
Yeah.
inconsistent. He doesn't assist and get goals every game. I agree with you, Chinwag Spurs. But the difference between Kulu and Maddison to me is Kulu never stops working. He will always work to influence a game.
Yeah.
What I see when I watch the Spurs games is when Maddison doesn't get the balls, doesn't get the deliveries right, his head starts to drop. And when his head drops, he becomes demoralised. And when he's demoralised, his play then suffers. Look, I agree. Maddison is a quality player who could play at the very top level. But do we need other players around him? Absolutely, we need other players around him. 100% we need other players around him. If we had two absolutely world-class defensive midfielders, would that give Maddison more permission to roam further forward and be that centre attacking midfielder what we need? Absolutely it would. But we don't have that. And what Maddison should be doing, because he's part of our leadership group, which is what Postecoglou said, he is part of our leadership group. As a leader, he needs to be stepping up, not letting his head drop. Because if you're a player and you're seeing your leader head drop, what you're going to do? Well, he's given up. Why should I keep running?
But
Right.
if you're a captain, but the point is, right, sorry, Jay, if you're a captain, you have a responsibility to, as captain, to be motivated for the whole 90 minutes. And you look at when he played against Frankfurt, absolutely got us the penalty. He has played well this season. Do you think the leadership group needs changing? Do you think too much responsibility, like on Sonny, probably like on the Maddison, does drag them down a bit, and it does weigh heavy on them? Where if you look at a Romero or a Van der Ven or possibly a Bentancur, it wouldn't weigh so heavy on their shoulders. And maybe that's why their performances have certainly dropped a bit. Do you think that could be the answer?
I love Sonny. I don't like saying bad things about Sonny, but he's not captain material, in my opinion. I would very much have given it to someone like Bentancur or Romero as an out-and-out captain. I think as sort of as look, Harry Kane was a brilliant captain for us, and he played up front. But Harry Kane played with his back to goal a lot, and he could see what was going off behind him. As a winger and a wide player, you're not playing with your back to goal, and you're not playing and you're not sat behind a lot of your players. So you sort of see it from a narrow point of view, and I think that's why Sonny doesn't make a good captain. Someone like Bentancur, who sits and holds and can see how the forward line is doing, and then because he's involved in the defensive work as well, can see how the defensive work is going. It gives him more of an ability to sort of have a wider view of the pitch. If that's my opinion. And same with Romero. He's sat at the back. He can see that he's got the entire pitch in front of him. He's got all the Spurs players in front of him, so he can see and he can pull the strings and pull people up. Yeah. Look, I love Sonny. I think he's a quality player, but just not as a captain. And I think him being given the captaincy has weighed on him, and I think it has shown in his game. Because when the games haven't been coming and the play hasn't been great and we've not been performing, we haven't had that player there to pick us up. So look, like I say, that's just my opinion, and that's my opinion. I say,
no. It's a question to you, Steve. I want to sort of ask you a different question. On Ange Postecoglou, there's a lot of people in the chat saying, "What will his excuse be today if we lose?" Right? And do you feel that if the club were more honest with the fans and say to them, "Look, this is what we're doing. We're going for the Europa League. We're going to bin off the league. It hasn't been great. We can only finish as high as 14th or 13th, but we will try to end a good season, but we're going for the Europa League." Do you think fans could get behind that?
I think in some ways that has already been signaled, right? Just with the rotation that we see in the Premier League. But that being said, he's in a no-win situation, right? Because if he goes with a heavy squad, a heavy first-team squad, and somebody gets re-injured, then he's going to take stick by fans who are saying, "Why did you play him? He should have been rested for the second leg." But that being, you should have played the second. You should have played some of the squad players. But then again, when he plays squad players and they don't perform up to expectations, then it's a no-win situation, because then why didn't you play? Why didn't you play more of your first team? It literally is an impossible situation for Ange Postecoglou. He can't win. But that being said, he is prioritizing Europa League, because if you look at the last 4 Premier League matches, it's been heavily rotated. It's been heavily rotated.
Yeah. Why I asked that?
Say that again?
Sorry. Why I asked that is Amarin has been a bit more honest in his press conferences. This is what we're doing, and Ange sort of hasn't. So, look,
Courage.
I agree with you. I agree with everything. So, sorry, Steve, you want to add to that? Sorry, man.
Oh, I was going to say courage. I think Ruben Amorim knows exactly what his team is, what they're about, and he's not afraid to put all that out into out to the media. Right. I think Ruben Amorim is just a different dude, comes from a different part of the world where, calling out your players is nothing, is nothing to be shamed about. Right. It's a source of motivation. Right. And you can see their performances in the Europa League. I actually gave him a lot of credit when he said, this is one of the worst Manchester United teams that we've seen in their history. Right. And I think it's a breath of fresh air, and I would absolutely love it if Ange Postecoglou had the intestinal fortitude to say the same thing about this Spurs team, because they're not as good as we thought. They were not as good as we thought they were.
No, I was just about to say that. Would you have liked Ange to do that? You took the words right out of my mouth. It shows how in sync we are now. You took the words right out of my mouth for that. Listen, guys, I'm now going to bugger off and get the watch along ready and get myself a drink and get ready. I leave it in the hands of you guys.
Yep.
I will leave you with this little big up to Tequila. Oh, I doubt that Levy has demanded Europa his priority. Levy still wants the Champions League money, which we'll get if we do win the Europa
which you
League.
don't get without Europa.
Exactly. But guys, thank you for watching Before the Whistle. It really means a lot to us, and thank you, Donna Collum, as well, for becoming a member. It means so much to us here, guys, to us here on the channel. But I will leave you. I leave you in the capable hands of Steve and James to let you finish off, and then I will see you over Steve in the watch along. And James, you all right for final score?
Absolutely.
Good. We'll see you on final score. Steve, I'll see you in a while, and I'll let you take over. All right, see you later, guys. All right, come on.
First and foremost, I want to thank Dermotron for his leadership today. Absolutely fantastic job again. And I want to thank everybody in the chat as well, too. Big up to you guys as well, too, and everybody else that's tuning in. James, first and foremost, let's just get right down to it. We're about 7-8 minutes until kickoff. What are your expectations for today? What is the one thing that you're looking for today? And how do you think this team accomplishes it?
I'd like to see a clean sheet. That would be a big thing for us. I think 2-1 Spurs is not out of the realms of possibility, but we need to stay strong. We need to see week in, week out, Steve, is we need to be strong defensively. We need to hold us own in that first 15 minutes. Not be silly with the ball. Look for the easy pass. Be more direct if the game dictates us be more direct. And yeah, let's just not be sloppy. Let's just not be sloppy.
Yeah,
and
you know what I want to. You know what I want to see. I just want to see a hard 90, man. That's it. And I want to see this team throw caution to the wind. Listen, there's a good chance that they're going to either finish 15th or 16th this year. Okay, fair enough. We understand the priority is going to be on Europa, but for this group of squad players that has largely been disappointing for the most part this season, this is the opportunity where you just attack, just straight attack, and just throw caution to the wind. Try to put as many balls on net as you possibly can. If West Ham challenges your back line by popping a few over the top, allow Danso to go back there and make a play. Allow Basuma to do the exact same thing along with Ben Davis, right? And if they score, fine, whatever they score. But that being said, I just want to see this team just be on the front foot, and you get what I'm saying, and just be relentless in your attack. whether it's on the buildup or the counter. Take chances that you otherwise wouldn't, and just let the chips fall where they may.
Yeah, because I agree. Because I mean, look, if our players ran themselves into the ground and we lose 2-0 or we lose 2-1 or whatever the scoreline and we lose, but those players have given 110%, then you can say, look, West Ham were the better team. We ran ourselves into the ground, but just West Ham managed to pip us. But yeah, I agree. I'd like to see us playing hard, playing well. I think the team's capable. I think the team that's out there is capable of getting us a result today. It's just how much do they want to get a result today?
Exactly right. If this team continues to treat it like a preseason friendly, then it's going to be an ugly contest today. What's your prediction, sir? What's your prediction for today?
I do think 2-1 Spurs.
Who's scoring the goals?
Richie and Decky.
Richie and Decky. I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw. I just think with the back line of Ben Davis and Kevin Danso, there are going to be, there's going to be opportunities for West Ham to put the ball in the back of the net. Yeah, I understand that they do struggle to score goals, but that being said, there's a huge discrepancy between a back line that's anchored by Romero and Van de Ven to Davis and Danso. And this is no disrespect to Danso. I thought he's been nice, but that being said, you wonder what kind of performance Archie Gray is going to put out today. And again, you're also wondering about Yves Bissouma as well, too, right? So I do think there's going to be space for them to operate. And I would love to see a clean sheet. That would be phenomenal. But I'm going to say 2-2. And I do think they get a result today. I think they get the point. And I'm going to go goals. I'm going to go goals from Kulusevski today. And I'm going to say Kulusevski and Wilson Odobert.
Okay. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Could see it happening. That's the thing. That is the thing about that Spurs lineup. When you say, "Oh, who do you think is going to score?" You look at, you do look at them, and any one of them is capable of putting the ball in the back of the net.
Yep.
But what has happened this season is just we've not consistently put the ball in the back of the net, or it's not been one player that is where we've been so used to Harry Kane banging in the goal after goal after goal after goal. We haven't had that striker that has banged in 20 goals this year. But look, I think it's going to be a cracking game. I will let you jump over and get ready for the watch along. And I will see you. I might jump in at half time, give you my half time thoughts. But if not, I will see you and speak to you at full time.
Sounds good. So you're going to finish up, or you're going to finish up here?
Yeah, no worries.
All right, sir. I'm looking forward to seeing you at halftime, and I'm also looking forward to seeing you on the final score. I do enjoy your opinions and your takes, so I'm very much looking forward to it. And lastly, trusting Kulu, and come on, you Spurs!
Come on, you Spurs! All right, guys, that's it. Everybody's getting ready for the watch along now. So if you guys want to drop off and go for the watch along, that's great. Join Dermo and Steve. Like I say, I'll jump in at halftime, give you my halftime thoughts, and I will certainly join at full time and give you my full time thoughts and some of my player ratings in the full time show. It's been a pleasure. I'd just like to say thank you to Dermo and Steve for joining us, and me joining Dermo as well. It's been a privilege and a pleasure to join the channel and work with everybody, and to join this community is just fantastic. And obviously, we're all Spurs fans. We're all very passionate, and we absolutely love Tottenham. And we just want to see us do better and be better. But yeah, that's it for me today. And enjoy the show. Enjoy the watch along with Steve and Dermo. I'm going to get ready for the kickoff, and I will speak to you all later.